Hello and welcome to the somewhat daily movie review. Today's movie in question is OldBoy, directed by Park Chan-wook and starring the wonderful Choi Min-sik, I think is how you say his name. So, right off the bat, I'm very sad to say I'm unfamiliar with Park Chan-wook's work. I recently tried to watch The Handmaiden, but I couldn't get through it because I had to do something, and when I end up watching it, I'll probably just start from the beginning because I hate picking up movies from the start. But I have heard a lot of good about Park Chan-wook, especially about OldBoy, and I'm gonna be honest, it blew my socks off. I was really impressed with OldBoy, with the style that Park Chan-wook brings to the screen, and the acting capabilities of some of these characters, because wow, he picked the best people for this and he delivered this crazy story perfectly. And I'm not really going to mention it through the review, but I have not seen Spike Lee's OldBoy. I really have no interest in watching it. I've just heard it's really bad, so I won't really be comparing the two. In my mind, this is the only OldBoy. But yeah, just to do a quick little plot synopsis in case you haven't seen it, it follows Choi Min-sik's character Dae-soo, I think is how you say his name. Sorry about my pronunciation. I'm not Korean. I do not have a drop of Korean blood in my body. But yeah, it follows Choi Min-sik's character trying to figure out why he was locked away in what's basically prison for 15 years, and the twists and turns that he's led down as he tries to find this. So this story is instantly intriguing, which is a big up to the movie because it opens up with a guy hanging from his tie about to fall off a building with a dog, and it kind of instantly gets you into the movie, and you really stay through the movie because of very small, great stylistic choices from Park Chan-wook, mainly the narration from Dae-soo and the excellent camera work. In a lot of ways, Park Chan-wook reminds me of Wong Kar-wai in the sense that they both have really personal, kind of invasive camera choices, and it's a compliment to this movie especially because you really only see it from Dae-soo's perspective, and it really makes the movie a lot better than it would have been if it were just static, just kind of stable, normal shots. So one thing I have to compliment, which I've already kind of mentioned, is the acting. The acting from Choi Min-sik and from Kang Hee-jung, I think is how you say her name, who plays Mi-do, the main guy's love interest, basically. And not only from those two, but from Yoji Tai, who plays Lee Woo-jin, the antagonist. The acting capabilities from these people are out of this world. Just, they're so convincing, especially Yoji Tai, or Tae. He is an excellent actor. He plays this really villainous, almost comic role, and that's another thing I have to appreciate about this movie, is that even though this movie is built off the twist at the end, and the twist is really great and you definitely don't see it coming, but before the twist happens, the movie is built off this sort of fish out of water, almost funny situation because Choi Min-sik's character has been locked away for 15 years. And that's actually the majority, or the first quarter of the movie maybe. Him just being stuck there and dealing with it and slowly trying to break out and explaining how isolation messed with him. Right when he gets out, there are a lot of funny sequences of him interacting with people for the first time because he hasn't seen anyone since. And he kind of teaches himself karate kind of thing. It's just a lot of little things like that in this movie that make it so great. And along with that, the excellent camera work, obviously, and the music. The music is excellent in this movie. It was a lot more operatic and kind of grand than I thought it'd be, but it fit the movie really well. I'm kind of surprised it fit as well as it did. But I really enjoyed the music, the acting. I enjoyed everything about this movie. And the movie never really had me bored. I was never really uninterested, and because the movie is this constantly unfolding thing, it always had me thinking ahead and trying to predict what was going to happen. And unfortunately, I was ages ago spoiled for the big twist of this movie. And while it did sort of affect my viewing experience, the way the twist is actually told and the way everything is delivered is so good that even though I kind of knew it was going to happen already, I was still pretty interested. And to talk about this twist at the end of the movie, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go into spoilers. So if you haven't seen OldBoy, please go watch it. It's on Netflix right now, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say. It's absolutely worth your time. It is an excellent intro to Korean cinema. It's a foreign film, anything you want. It's a great intro to Park Chan-wook, because this is probably his best movie. I know I can't say that having only seen one of his films, but to my knowledge anyway, I mean, what I saw of The Handmaiden definitely wasn't up to par with this. And no offense to The Handmaiden, I'm sure it's great. But yeah, please go watch OldBoy. It's on Netflix. You know, who doesn't have a Netflix account at this point? Just go. It's only 2 hours. It's absolutely worth your time. But yeah, spoilers from here on out. So concerning the big twist in the movie, I was spoiled of it earlier, and I really wish I wasn't, because in retrospect, there are some very unnoticeable, subtle tells, but the movie moves at such a quick pace, and, you know, things are constantly happening, and you're learning things about the villain, and you're learning things about Dae-soo, and you're learning about Mi-do as well, and you never really have the time to think about what the relation of these two characters really is. And that's the great thing about the movie, is that it's always moving forward. There really isn't a dull moment in this movie. The action, you know, that hallway scene with the hammer, incredible. The little intro fight with the street hooligans is also really great. Just a lot of really great action in this movie, and that's another thing that really surprised me, because I knew about the hammer hallway scene. I had seen screenshots of bits of it, but I had not seen the whole thing, and I knew there was gonna be action, but I didn't know there'd be as much as there was, and I want to compare it to The Raid, because that hallway shot is pretty reminiscent of some of the stuff from The Raid Redemption, but you know, it's not really on that level, it's not focused on that, but in that same kind of really physical, karate, close-up action stuff, it does do a lot for the movie, and it makes each scene where it does happen, because it happens so infrequently, it makes it a lot more impactful, and I really appreciated the movie for the action. And again, I think the twist of the movie was delivered perfectly, especially with how evil Lee So-ah how evil his character is, and how kind of conniving he seems, and he tells Dae-soo about the heart machine, and I had to make the switch for me to turn it off, and all this. He's such a conniving, almost traditional villain that you can't help but kind of hate and love him at the same time. And when you learn about his own relation with his sister, you realize, like, wow, this dude is really gross, and you understand why he did what he did to Dae-soo, because, you know, he ruined his life, basically. He got his sister killed. And his almost forgiveness of Dae-soo at the end, and the ending of the movie is really sad and really gross. When he chooses to forget about his relationship with his daughter, it's gross, but you see how much he really does love her, and you see how far he's willing to go just to be with her again, and you see how much she trusts him, not opening the box to find what was probably the family photo album. Just really great filmmaking, and just really excellent characters and great writing. And I know I'm saying this movie's praises a lot, but it was great. And again, not to go back on it, but the stylistic choices of this movie are insane. One thing that I really appreciate about movies is visual style, because it's a big part of what really makes a director. With Wong Kar-wai especially, not to bring him up more than I have to, but I mean, Chungking Express is like in my top 5 ever, because it's so stylistic and so well made. And in a lot of ways, OldBoy, and at least to my knowledge, Park Chan-wook's style is really important to this movie, and it makes it stand out. And again, I don't want to bring it up too much, but that's why Spike Lee's OldBoy wasn't nearly as great, because that heart wasn't really behind it. But OldBoy is just a really great, stylish, beautiful film, and I appreciate it for that. But I'm pretty sure that's all I really wanted to hit. This movie is excellent. Definitely go watch it. Even if, I know at least someone is staying and having not watched the movie just to hear my thoughts on it, but even if I just spoiled it for you, you should still go watch this movie, just for the visual story that it delivers with the editing and the filming style and the weirdly old looking CG, especially in the penthouse. It kind of reminded me of Fight Club when they blow up the banks. But I definitely recommend you go watch this movie if you haven't, and if you have, maybe even go rewatch it while it's still on Netflix, because it's insane it's on Netflix in the first place. But yeah, that's it for real. Let me know what I can change or fix. This should be my last video filming with this mic. I'm going to be using my new mic next video, so hopefully it sounds better. And yeah, I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the theaters.